Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Ride 4. We are going to be using the Honda VTR1000 SP2 right here in the fantastic circuit of Kanto, the South Course version to be precise. Now we're a little bit underpowered compared to the AI on this bike. It's in the same category, but it just lacks that acceleration and power, does the VTR. You'll see some of the other riders are probably going to be able to pull away from me in a certain couple of straights, but I'm pretty confident with our abilities against the 120% difficulty AI that we'll still get the job done. So taking it smooth, taking it easy, and just being relatively calm with the VTR will probably result in victory for us today as we go over the curb there in turn 5. Never actually done that before. I thought that would probably result in a crash there, but thankfully we stayed up on board the bike. So a little bit deep into Barrianto 1, not quite the start I was looking for here, but we do have 10 laps here in the Japanese circuit, so there's no reason we can't continue to improve and start putting some fast-paced lap times to contend with the AI. Now, going into the next right-hander, got to get early on the brakes here, but be very, very calm. Don't need to be slamming the brakes on because you're braking on an angle there, so if you really hit the brakes, you could end up dropping the fronters. Goodness me, someone just crashed into City 1 there. That was a scary moment for the AI, but we'll try and go around the outside of Ezio Nakano. Almost said Ezio then from Assassin's Creed, of course. But we do have Nakano ahead of us, and there is a very slow Peng Fang, the Chinese man, is slowing down on board the Yamahas. We're going to go very firm on the brakes into the left-hand side for turn 11. Now the time is going to be moving relatively fast in this one, so we may actually see night time before the end of this video. So I guess we'll stick around for that for now, but around the outside of another Honda. Got to be firm on the brakes here, get it inside to the middle. I've just noticed that gap, 3 seconds it is to Anton Koskela, leading the way at the front there. Not entirely sure what bike Koskela is using, but the Finnish rider at this stage is pulling away somewhat. 3.5, 3.6, it could be more in a couple more corners, so we'd probably better hurry up and chase down the riders ahead of us. And never mind, actually, Anton Koskela ending the race early. Already down to 4th after mucking it up into turn 4, so we'll go round the outside and possibly have a lunge on Jessica Reynolds. I'm going to go to the outside here and hopefully feint the lunge, then go wide here, bring it in nice and tight for Barrianto 1, and we're going to try and squeeze through. Oh, beautiful! Squoze up on the inside. Beautifully done, and now we're in pursuit of Yuki Uchimura. So bring on the power, avoid the wall there at all costs, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully we get some slipstream to attack the Japanese rider in his home road circuit right now. So very late on the brakes there. Wasn't actually expected to go for the lunge there, but we went for it. Just sits up the bike a little bit because, of course, if you get hit when you're on that angle, usually the bike just drops. So I just had to square off the bike and stand it up a little bit just to avoid Yuki Uchimura from sending us to the scenery. So thankfully, no contact, or well, contact was made, but no crash had occurred for either rider. So now it's down to us. Lap 2 of 10 is about to reach its conclusion, so it's down to us to start putting in some fast-paced lap times. I don't actually know what our potential is with the VTR1000 SP2 across the line, and it is a 1:37, so probably could get another 0.8 of a second out of the Honda. I don't think we've had a real opportunity to show our cards here, so I guess we'll see what's going to happen with the next 8 laps or so. So Jin 1 for turn 2. And it's been tackled quite nice. I do very much enjoy the circuit. I think it's a great road track. It's certainly synonymous with the Ride 4 when I think about this game. I usually do think about this track. It's one of those ones that appeared a lot in the career mode, and having the opportunity to play here even just by myself, it's still very much an enjoyable circuit. Now, regarding the full version of Kanto, it's also a great track, but Kanto South, it just has the best bits of Kanto. Now there is a few parts during the middle which is pretty exciting, but this bit in particular, braking hard into the left-hand side for Barrianto 2, that is part of the full course, and of course the south course which we're doing right now. The Kanto North course is not quite my favourite. I do think you miss out some of the hard braking zones such as this part here, as we go firm into the brakes for City 1. Keep it in nice and tight to the apex, knee almost touching the rumble strip there as we went on the far right of the bike, and back over to the right once more as we bring on the power. Not quite as clean as I would have wanted on the acceleration there. And a part where the Honda really struggles with is its acceleration. Already losing a couple of tenths of a second to Uchimura behind just for that slow acceleration with the right trigger. Now, of course, being extra smooth here with the VTR, that's the goal of today's video. I want to be smooth, I want it to look clean, and so far I think it looks pretty decent, if I do say so myself. So underneath the Windows 11 banner, we're just lost 0.005 of a second, so consistent pace on lap 3 right now. Lap 2 and 3, almost identical lap times. So into turn 2 once more. A little bit deep there. It's a tough corner to brake there. You can really easily lose the front if you just press that brake just a little bit too much. Not by much, it is very, very small, so you've got to be very careful going into turn 2 there. And this part actually a pretty confident part, but if you do run it wide and go across that white line, that is almost a guaranteed penalty. So you have to be very careful with that change of direction there. But now into Barrianto 1, back over to the left-hand side, very close to the rumble strip there, and then back over to the right here to hit the apex, then to launch it over for another apex for the left-hand side for Barrianto 2. Very smooth movements around that particular part of the track. You might feel the need to brake heavily or to maybe go too hard on the rear brake, but I assure you it's not really how you need to do it. As you can see in the bottom right corner of your screen, how much brake is being applied is with the top right hand gauge, and the bottom right hand gauge is of course the rear brake. There's not actually that much rear brake used for some of these corners, but there is one spot well, I'm guaranteed to use rear brake, and that is this moment coming up right now. To pass the shops and the apartments, wait for the opportunity after the zebra crossing and go full rear brake. See the tyres just spinning ever so slightly as we launch it into the left hand side for the penultimate corner. And of course this bit right here, really long right hander as we go really far in the acceleration. And across the line, is it an improvement? It is. It's a 1:37.667. It's a pretty solid performance. But regarding the lap times, I did have a quick brief look before this video was made, and the time trials for this category, that wouldn't stand a chance for anywhere near the top 10, probably a 12th or 13th. So not really good enough is the VTR. It's in a strange class. Of course, a 1000cc up against 750s or even 600 sometimes, it doesn't really compete very well. It's a tough spot for the VTR to be in, to be quite honest with you. I think for Ride 5 we do need better categories and better opportunities on the leaderboards, because there's some bikes that just don't get any attention, simply because they'll never be good enough for the top spot. And what a strange penalty. We might have gone a little bit too close to the barrier there, but no benefit was actually given for going close to that wall. We were issued a whole tenth and a bit for pretty much nothing. That was rather unfair now, and that's annoyed me actually. I hate to get penalty time, and that seemed very unfair. No advantage was given, but we do have a disadvantage on the screen with a tenth and a little bit. Frustrating, but never mind, we'll continue to push on. We're just approaching halfway through the race distance here in Kanto. And of course guys, if you are enjoying the content so far, be sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing as well, because we're going to go firm on the brakes now for the penultimate corner for turn 11, and back over to the right hand side here for the final corner for turn 12. This long right hander as we charge down the straight and across the line. Is it an improvement? It's not. We lost 14,000th of a second, so that's 4 laps now, coming in very fast with all the same or roughly close enough lap times there. So pretty strong performance already, but running a little bit deep for turn 2. Oh, that's the moment. You want to hit that brake, you really do, but it's just counterintuitive. If you hit the brake, you'll crash. So you just have to brave it and hope for the best as you go into that right-hander. There's always crashes there online, and I'm surprised we didn't crash there myself actually, because that was really pushing quite hard there for the second corner. We are up actually, 10th a little bit more for us, so that's the 10th and a bit we lost earlier. Back over to the left. We must keep away from the barrier to the left there. Don't know why. Windows 11 barrier giving us stick as we go back over for Barrianto 2. We now bring on the power with confidence, with glee, to charge down the straight, past all the shops, past all the apartments, and past a few houses there as well. So on the brakes, always use that blue van. When you see that blue van come through the render distance, yeah, that's when I start to brake. And it does help quite a lot, so significant braking into City 1 and then into City 2. It's all about smooth acceleration coming out of the right-hander. And now, once again, another long straight using the power of the VTR, or lack thereof compared to the other bikes in this category, as we go firm on the anchors and slowly tip the bike into the left there. Really smooth pace. I've got to say, every time I use the VTR I just feel smooth. really, really smooth. I mean, I don't know how many times I said smooth in this video, but if there's anything to go by and you're not quite twigged to employ to be smooth, and across the line we went, we were up by a whole 0.6 of a second, or 0.5. Pretty promising stuff as we get into the 137s. Might be good enough for a top 10 after all on the leaderboards. May have to return back here to see if we can crack the top 10 with the VTR SP2, the VTR1000 of course. Now regarding the lap times, I think it was like a 1:32 in this particular category. So yeah, that's pretty much impossible, but maybe if we detune the bike, maybe we'll have an opportunity to get a top spot. I don't know. Guess we'll figure that out when it eventually comes to it. But on lap 7 now of Kanto, the Honda performing very well. This is another bike of the affinity levels I do need to achieve. Got one more level for this bike, just reached level 4, and funnily enough, this 10-lap race here only gave me around 21 points towards the affinity. So I would not recommend doing this circuit if you want to pick up your affinity level for a bike. It seemed very disappointing that. I felt like I would get a lot more, but the Ride 4 gods only bequeathed us with 21 affinity points. So back over now to the right hand side. It is getting a little bit dark as we approach 4:30. Bit late on the brakes there as well, as a matter of fact. Not like how late we went across into the left-hander, and unfortunately that is some more penalty. Anton Kostkeller was 4.4 seconds briefly, he's now 3.6 seconds. I don't want to get you excited, but he could catch us up. All depends what we do now. Only losing 0.3 of a second on that time there, so still very consistent. I think every lap has been in the 1:37s, not including the standing start lap time, of course. We've been very competitive. I think the first lap we did was like a 1:44, so it's not very clear on what lap times we're really doing until we start chucking in. Quite impressive so far. I'm very much enjoying this track, and I'm very much enjoying using the VTR. We did cut across the line there, but thankfully no penalty was given. No metaphorical slap on the wrist. As we now go back over to the left in anger almost, and then chuck it over to the right time once more. Back over to the left. Very nice, very calm, relaxed braking for Barriento 1 and of course Barriento 2. Rear tyres looking quite warm, but it is feeling a bit loose. As I'm bringing on the power now, I can feel it slipping and sliding ever so slightly, so I may have to just put that in the back of the mind for now and not pay too much attention to it, but just be careful coming in some of these corners. It's a low gear. You don't want to be bringing the power on too prematurely and sending yourself to the distance and to the fences on the left hand side there. It's a big fence and you don't want to be hitting that, of course. So bring on the power, look for the zebra crossing, start braking up to this part here. So we now keep it in nice and tight, and we just gently manoeuvre the bike over. None of this pushing and pulling on the analog stick, just a smooth movement with the analog stick. Very calm, very precise. So across the line we will start the penultimate lap of today's video, and that is another low 1:37. 1:37.168 is another promising lap time here in the Kanto South circuit. So into the temple part, we keep a nice strong line there. Probably could have gone a little bit later on the acceleration there, but went on a bit too early and I just veered ever so slightly to the right hand side there. Not really what I was looking for in the early sector of Kanto. So back over to the left there. The rear tyre is feeling a bit slippery now. I do need to be a bit careful with that. I can just feel the bike moving. It's not something I don't think you can really see it, but it feels it. It feels really loose, especially on the change of direction where you're going with a bit of acceleration. It just feels like it's slipping. I'm trying to find a point where I could really pinpoint it to you so you could see the movement of the rear tyre, because it still looks pretty smooth right now. Doesn't feel it. I'm fighting it. I am really fighting with the Honda. And as we go firm on the brakes here, this is going to take some more tyre wear away from us if we go firm in the rear. So operating with just the front brake there and just the front brake here will just save a bit of life for the rear tyre. And there is a prime example. Bringing on the power just a little bit prematurely sends the rear tyre spinning. I've been doing the same thing all those other laps, but because the rear tyre is reaching its lifespan, it isn't quite as confident into the right-hander there. But now for the final lap time coming up. Penultimate corner on the penultimate lap, turn 12. It's 24 degrees here in Kanto, so still relatively warm. That's why the front and rear tyre are in a decent colour there. But now into the right-hand side, we'll try and go for it now. It's lap 10 of 10. Final lap here in Kanto. We're leading the way. A bit of a glitch there on the recording software. Everything went a bit dodgy. So apologies for that. Hopefully it wasn't too jarring. It was certainly jarring for me. We're now back over to the left-hand side here. Gene 2 is where we'll get the change direction. A bit deep for the second Gene. Now into Shinrin 1. Not quite smooth. I'm feeling the pressure now of the rear tyre. It is beginning to struggle. This is not going to be a very impressive lap time, I can already tell. And losing 3.5 tenths of a second in the first split is certainly not confident-inducing. So back over to the left for Burijaji 2. I might have pronounced that wrong. Well, probably a guarantee that I pronounced it wrong, but Barrianto 2, tackled now. And this is the final time we'll be entering the streets of Kanto, so down the long straight. Just moving ever so slightly. Keep an eye out for that blue van in the distance. There it is. Start braking in. Nice and calm, nice and relaxed as we only use the front brake for these next couple of corners. And then back over to the right. Once more into City 2. Pretty well done. Temperature's beginning to decrease. The night time is beginning to loom. That is going to be it. So we actually gained more time on Anton Koskela. I thought once the night time started coming and the lights were coming on, I thought that's when Anton would probably get stronger. Didn't happen for the man in second place. I have no idea what bike he's using, as a matter of fact, because I never seen. He crashed into Gene 2 earlier on and we never seen him since. But guys, that is it from me. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Another victory and more affinity points to the Honda VTR SP2. And I guess that's it. So guys, thanks for watching as always. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know in the comments section down below. Be sure to hit the like button, consider commenting and consider subscribing. And I guess that's it. So, guys, ciao for now. Oh, hi! Didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.